and welcome willkommen to your weekly horoscope and taroscope with me, Natalie, spelled N-A-T-A-L-E-E. If someone has sent you this video, they believe there's something valuable for you to gain through one or a few of the messages contained herein. If this is your first time viewing an astrology video, a horoscope is a forecast for future events just like the weather forecast, except a horoscope's delineation is based on the planet's position and relationships in the week ahead. This weekly horoscope is a unique blend of Western tropical astrology interpretation and what I see when I remotely view into the astrology. If this is your first time viewing a tarot reading, just observe your own body, thoughts, and emotions for any reactions, subtle or strong. This means you are resonating with the message and can benefit from its guidance. If you'd like to know when I upload or live stream new messages here on the YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, watch Natalie, and toggle the notification bell. To connect on social media, you can also follow me over on the TikTok, same handle, Watch Natalie. Please block and report any other accounts. Lastly, always remember that time spirals, all of my messages are timeless, and that you can learn more about me, my psychic work, how to retain my services, book a one-to-one session with me, and do your own forecasting down below in the description box. And that there are timestamps there too for easy navigation. Without further ado, let's open up your week ahead. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with Monday, July the 11th. We have the Sun in Cancer, sextiling the North Node in Taurus. So the week starts with this really nice, I'm calling this day positive clues, because you could emotionally be very tuned into something that is going to take up more and more of your attention later on down the line. And on this aspect, there could just be a little bit more light being shown on perhaps your own inner resourcefulness, or how much you like someone or something, or an appreciation for your life. Something positive, something nice. You could also just be in a mood or in a feeling of appreciation, stability, where you are appreciating maybe even whatever semblance of security or stability that you've created for yourself, whether that's more mental stability, emotional stability, physical stability. Maybe you're feeling really grateful for all of the different ways that you could create stability for yourself. So I would just pay attention on Monday. It could be small though, very, very small. A little opportunity, a little sprinkling of inspiration is what I'll say. Tuesday, July the 12th, we have the Moon in Capricorn trining Mars in Taurus. So on Tuesday, this is nice. I'm calling this day lusty because you have the Moon connecting to Mars, which is always going to be lusty, especially if you guys have that in your synastry. You're comparing both of your charts together and your any kind of connection. Moon conjunct Mars, squaring, opposition, whatever. It's always lusty. It's always very stimulating. So here we have the full moon in Capricorn making that trine over to Mars in Taurus, saying this is great, this feels amazing. And the passion is picking up here. So it's gaining in fullness. Basically it's full moon. So by the time it's like cruising over to say hey to Mars in Taurus, observe your cravings, observe what you are feeling so super passionate about. Watch what comes together very easily for you. There could be something that just, the perfect idea comes together. You meet the right person, you meet someone, you have a lot of chemistry with them, you make a new friend, you finally get the right idea that you've been looking for, or maybe you solve a problem that you've been trying to solve for a very long time. Something is just having you feel very invigorated, very stimulated, and likely for the positive. Wednesday, July the 13th, we have the super full moon in Capricorn. We have Venus in Gemini trining Saturn retrograding in Aquarius, going exact on this date. So on Wednesday, I'm calling this day facts because something is being illuminated, as is per usual with every month's full moon. Something comes up, gets the light of day. We get to see the results of our efforts for the past 2 weeks, maybe even dating as far back as 6 months ago or a year and a half ago. So this full moon is no different. It is going to be a grand reveal, except to the 10th power. There's going to be even more coming to light, and that's because this full moon which is always in opposition with the sun. That's what makes a moon full, is they're in opposition. When they're together, it's a new moon. And you had the new moon in Capricorn in the beginning of January of this year. I think it was the 1st or the 2nd. You could be wrapping something up that you initiated, that you started back then, and you're going to see where you have made the most ground. You're going to see where you have made the most gain, where you have made, you're going to see where you've made the deepest, farthest reaching changes to the operating system. That's because of Pluto. This full moon is conjuncting Pluto, and Pluto gets to the kernel of the unit. Pluto gets to the granule, the seed. It gets to the origin. It gets to it's the villain's origin story. It's like, why is he the way that he is? Why is this person the way they are? Well, it's the root wound, or the original wound, that initial experience, that psychic imprint into your subconscious that would program your expectations forevermore. I'm just kidding. But so it's going to be pretty revealing. You're going to see how far you've come. You're going to see where you stand. You're going to see where you stand in your relationships, or wherever this is happening for you. I've already covered this extensively for all of the 12 sign July horoscopes. They've been up a while already. So you will all go back and, you know, see where the secrets are going to be spilling out for you at this full moon. Now, here's the other thing about this full moon, is that whenever you have lunations in Capricorn and Cancer, the themes of public life versus private life are always going to come to the fore. They're always going to be a thing. They're always going, it's just going to be part of whatever it is that you're dealing with. So at this full moon with Pluto, there's very clearly something changing with power. Power energy itself, how it's being expressed, how people are steering their own power, how people are responding to how others are using their power. And remember, power is the ability to do something. If I have the power to stand up right now and no longer sit, I'm an ableist, I have that privilege. I have the power, the ability to stand up and use these legs, use my little neuronal firing networks and stand up and move my arms around if I want to. So there's something changing here. There's a lot to break down at this full moon. This is kind of a big one. You're gonna feel this one. Everyone's gonna feel this one. There's some special things happening with this full moon. One of those special things being this trine to Uranus in Taurus, which says that the change in power, this is like a transition of power happening within yourself as an individual and on a collective level. The trine to Uranus is telling me that there could be success when you're trying to implement anything new or progressive as part of the change of power, or as part of the updating of the operating system. Let's just go with that example. When you're trying to bring something new and different in and add it to the mix, it can go really well for you. So if there's just been one last piece missing over the past 6 months, you've been working on it. You've been working on getting this last piece together, integrating it with the whole, and there will still probably be a little bit of luck and chance and spontaneity and synchronization and fate connected with this. The ruler of this full moon is Saturn. Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn is trining over to Venus, squaring Uranus in a wide way, and also bending the nodes, squaring the nodes. So the trine to Venus is amazing. The ruler of this full moon is trining Venus. So remember in June, around like the middle of June, I said, you know, Venus is getting into a tangle with Saturn. It's just going to be a little bit down. It's going to be a denial. It's going to be a no. But with Saturn, it's never like a forever denial. It's a delay. That's what we say. It's a delay, not a denial. It's a denial right now in the moment, but eventually that'll turn into a yes, and that's what this full moon is. So if anything was frustrating a month ago, this could even make you feel a little bit better, because this Venus is now trining Saturn. So whatever is coming together, if you're innovating some new way of doing something, or welcoming some new person or situation or construct into your life, or whether new things are just sprouting up all over the place, whatever, or if you're just changing inside as a human being and as a person, and therefore life is feeling different because you're different in your own life, you're going with the flow pretty perfectly. As long as you're really honest and realistic with what's coming up about you in that Capricorn area of life, and if you meet that information with grace and integrity, that's a Capricorn word, it's also a Scorpio word, integrity, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Also, powerful people, power figures, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw huge changes in power happening. We're already seeing that as we're kind of building up into the full moon. Another special thing about this full moon is this opposition to the Sun and Mercury. So the Sun and Mercury are about to go combust. They're about to have Cazimi. And remember last week when I was like, Mercury's going so fast through Cancer. That's because of the Cazimi. And I knew that already. That was just so weird to think back on and just think, I totally knew why Mercury was going faster. So anyway, at this full moon, they're not in the Cazimi yet. They're burnt up, but they're not. That'll be on Saturday. So by this time, you are gonna receive the full light of meaning. You're about to have all of the cards in front of you. You're about to know everything about the situation. This is a full disclosure full moon. It's the Scorpio full moons and the Capricorn full moons that I always get really excited in regards to. I guess they're called UAEs right now, UFOs, and like I'm waiting for a very in-your-face alien disclosure. Like every American gets a pamphlet and gets paid time off of work because we're all going to sit and watch this TV show telling us about the protocols of aliens and everything, and like how to move life forward together as Americans and dealing with this intergalactic issue. Like I want something like that. I don't know, I haven't done that yet, but that's like, if I were president, that'd be the first thing I do, where we're all having a family chat, my fellow Americans. Anyway, it's a long digression off the topic. So it's still going to be a full disclosure full moon. It's still going to be full disclosure, and moon and the sun and Cancer, that's what I said wrong. Mercury and the sun in Cancer are dancing around all of these details. You're going to have more over the weekend, but you're probably seeing where this is going or what it has to do with, or, Mercury's about to get totally blindsided with all the information. So you could be getting a little bit, not neurotic, I wouldn't say neurotic, this is more where you might just either be super excited or your mind could be going a mile a minute. And if you're thinking wrong, you're thinking wrong looking at how you're feeling. If you're feeling really crummy, you need to choose different thoughts. You're thinking wrong. If you're thinking thoughts and you're feeling good, and it's not toxic positivity or anything, and you're actually, being kind with yourself and that kind of thing, then it's good, it's positive, and it's working for you, and it's healthy for you. So with this stirring up energy just throughout the week, you could have a lot going on mentally. Just a lot going on mentally. It's going to lead to its moment on Saturday. Another really interesting thing about this full moon is that it is actually forming a T-square to Chiron in Aries. So I talked all about this in all of the 12 sign breakdowns for July. Basically, the moon and Pluto have this very harsh pullback, like a huge reveal, like something, maybe you're getting something checked out and you just totally thought it was totally chill, and you get it under a microscope and this thing is a monster. It is just like out of this world, kind of something like that. Like, oh my God, something is going to be, it's like that. The sun and Mercury in Cancer, I think, is very intuitive. So Mercury's not exactly strong for analytics in Cancer, and not strong in analytics or what they're usually used to, how they process information, because they're all combusted up. They're all burnt up by the beams of the sun. So they're not really much of use, even though they're the most aspected planet in the month of July with 16 aspects. So throw that out the window. Like, this is going to be very guttural. It's going to be very responsive. You're going to know exactly what you're reacting to, what you're responding to, how you're feeling. You're going to really be very sharp and visceral in regards to knowing where you stand emotionally and spiritually. So give yourself some time with that. The T squared to Chiron in Aries is the secret. This is your result, where it's really going to spill out in this configuration. And it has to do with reconciling a wound or an insecurity of yours. So wherever the Aries area of your life is where this healing energy is being focused. So it's likely going to feel cringe, to be honest. It's likely going to feel like you just want to melt into the couch and just disappear. It could feel just, or it could be the one thing that you just don't want to talk about, or the one sore spot that you just feel so insecure about. And it's just the softest, sorest little vulnerable, ugh. But this is getting all of the attention, all of this power, the transitioning of power, the revolution. This is a very good full moon for the revolution, by the way. Just saying. And it's going to heal that feeling of cringe so that you don't judge yourself and say, oh my God, that feeling is so cringe. That you feel that feeling, you feel how it feels, and you move the energy through and you talk to yourself in a totally different way. Totally different way. So all this pressure is coming down on healing your sense of identity, healing your confidence, helping to give you some more positive attitude, trying to access all of those mistakes and all of the ways everything went wrong when you tried to be confident, when you tried to project your identity outward, when you tried to do all of those things. All of the failures with that are going to come up. All of the blunders are going to come up. And this is a full moon that is going to have some new element probably coming in to ferry you through the awkward moment beyond that, and saying, look, we're doing it now. If it's like, you think about riding a bike or something or whatever, it's just like, you know the example. So, it's going to be a cathartic experience. It's going to be very cathartic. It's going to be very healing. And with the trine to Jupiter, Sun and Mercury are both sextiling, the trine to Uranus, and how the Sun and Mercury are sextiling Uranus and Taurus, there's the upgrade. And that's going to be through the revolution. It's going to be, we're taking this person out of power, putting this person into power, or we're just scrapping the whole system, or we're just doing this how we're going to do it, or, whatever. We're just going to try something new and different. That opportunity opening up through chaos, through no status quo, through a change in power. So yeah, I would say this Uranus energy is kind of like a lightning bolt. So if you can ride that light all the way up, you go faster. But people have resistance, like a wire has resistance and the electricity doesn't flow as fast. People are the physical wires, have physical resistances that store in their bodies. Guys, having Saturn going through my second house has been freaking awesome. I've never eaten so well in my entire life. It's been freaking amazing. I don't know what got me talking about that. Anyway, so it's going to be a great full moon. It's going to be great. You're going to see how far you've come, how far you've got to go in your own personal power. So that's another thing. So Pluto with the moon is either, there could be a little bit of both, but you can find yourself coming into a position of power, or you can find yourself bestowing your position of power onto someone else, where you're saying, okay, I've been mentoring you this long, you are the acolyte, you are in your graduation vibe, and you're ready to go into your main character energy. Let's see this transformation happen. and you know, you make them in charge of something. You know, it's kind of like that. Or maybe you have some progeny about to take over the family business, or maybe you've got you know, any way, shape, or form where you're feeling like it's your turn to shoot now. I took the shots before, but I taught you how to line it all up. I'm thinking like pool, billiards, but you know, I taught you how to line it all up. I taught you how to take the shot, and it's all lined up. You go ahead and you just shoot the shot now. It's all on you. It's all up to you now. You know how to do it. You know what you're doing. You know, so it could even be kind of like that, where someone's ready to come in and shoot the shot, and someone else is ready to throw them the ball. So that's cool. That's always fun. And what else? Did I talk about every single little thing? I think I did. I think I talked about this full moon a lot. Let's move on. One thing I want to say is, with this full moon, you're going to want to play the long game. Like, if anything's freaking you out, don't make any decisions on that energy. You definitely want to see this thing from the broadest perspective, the longest term perspective. Power gained from strategy is better than power gained from status or position. Always remember that. This is also a very strategic. So if anyone's been strategizing, this could be a moment where that becomes, you know, where there's like a display, there's some kind of publication, there's an exhibit, there's a showing of your work, of who you are, of your relationship. You've been dating someone, now you go public with them. It's, you know, it's got that very full disclosure energy to it. Thursday, July the 14th. So on Thursday, July the 14th, we do have Venus in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, Moon in Aquarius squaring Mars in Taurus. So on Thursday, I'm calling this day Erase Fears because of the Venus-Neptune square. Now, this happened a lot in 2020. In 2020, it was Venus in Gemini. It was Venus in Gemini squaring Neptune in Neptune in Pisces, and it just, that happened a lot because Venus was retrograde in 2020. So they did that little dance like a whole long time. So this is that again because Venus is in Gemini, but it's not going to be nearly as grueling or as gnarly as in 2020. So here's the thing with Venus Neptune is that you could pedestal someone, you could think someone's the greatest thing on earth since sliced bread, and then the Venus Neptune square comes around and they just look ugly to you. Something about that image has just been shattered. They're just not who you thought they were. They're not looking like you saw them before. Something with the image is really off-put. So this can be someone you thought was very charming, and then they do something very crude, or they treat someone very rudely and very, you know, unkindly, and you thought they were like a good person. It could be something like that. It can also be that you overspend. Maybe you overestimated the amount of money you had in your bank account, and you're like, whoa, you know, and it could be kind of that disjointed perceptiveness. Or it could be that something's even better than you thought it was, which is why I'm calling this day Erase Fears, because you don't want to emotionally embrace the worst possible outcome. You want to be prepared for anything and really believe in yourself with this North Node in Taurus. Believe in yourself no matter what is happening in life or whatever is going on. Believe in yourself, and your own inner resourcefulness is going to be the answer. It's not going to be clamping down or doubling down on any kind of fixed position or outdated, foregone ways of feeling secure. I'll get to that in a second. So on Thursday, with the Venus square Neptune, I like that for overcoming a fear of yours. With Moon in Aquarius squaring Mars in Taurus, you know, just a couple days ago, the Moon was trining Mars in Taurus, and now here we are with the Moon squaring it. You may need to put your attention into a more scientific way, into a scientific container. You might have to apply your emotions in a very objective way. Maybe you have something going on with your family or in the work situation, you're trying to be very clear and objective, but that Mars in Taurus has you really gunning for lustiness and for subjectivity and for enjoying your pleasures and doing your thing and getting your needs met. So, you know, there could be just a little bit of a dueling desires there. Friday, July the 15th, we've got the moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. We have the moon conjuncting Saturn in Aquarius, and then we have the moon in Aquarius trining Venus in Gemini. I'm calling this day progress because that moon in Aquarius is doing a lot. Connecting with Uranus and Taurus, yes, it is a square. Conjoining with Saturn, that's cool. And then trining Venus in Gemini, that's really, really cool. So the square to Uranus is saying to get out of your comfort zone. So wherever you thought you were getting comfortable, we can do better. We can be even more comfortable. You just haven't seen it yet because you haven't tried it yet. So let it happen. Let, you know, whatever the disruptions are, you thought you were going to have this kind of agenda for the day and it goes into a totally different direction. Try to keep a light schedule. This can just be whatever you need to experience to stir you and to rouse you out of a comfort zone to create a further comfort zone. So when you're out of your comfort zone, you have to make do with what you've got. You've got to just go on some hope and some faith and see how it turns out. You get through it. You get to the other side. You're supposed to have some newfound confidence in yourself, and you've just expanded your comfort zone that little bit more because you've overcome something new and different, because you went a little bit further than you were comfortable with before, and now that new territory is no longer new territory. You've conquered it. Now it's your territory. So Uranus is a pretty big jump. Uranus and Taurus is going to have a big ask for you, a big jump in confidence, a new jump in maybe getting a new, you know, this is like moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. That's like they don't have ketchup packets for your morning cereal, and you're the weirdo moon in Aquarius that likes ketchup on everything, and you're just like, but I always have ketchup every morning. You know, you might be ready to have your little, you know, little fixed sign tantrum. But that Uranus and Taurus is saying you need to discover a new flavor that you are going to freaking love. Here, try a parfait. Have some granola. Work your mandibules, whatever it's, work your masticate, you know, get something else going here. And then you eat that and you're like, oh my God, this parfait is like the best thing ever. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a small little thing. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Moon conjuncting Saturn talks about maturity. You might just be feeling serious. It might just be a very serious tone, or your friendships or your group dynamics could be showing you that there's longevity here. Like, this is my friend, this is my person, this is a great group for me, this is a great environment for me. I could really commit to this long term. I can, you know, it's some kind of leveling up in your maturity. Then we have the moon in Aquarius trining Venus in Gemini. I like this a lot. Again, this is trying to support your new definition of comfort, your new definition of, I can be comfortable like this. I can be comfortable like this. I'm growing. It's a little bit like that, except it's a little bit easier and it's a nicer for you. So maybe you are part of a new group of people, and there's maybe one person in there that helps to make you feel even more part of the group. It eases your way into this cold water new, you know, environment or something, or you start a new thing and there's a supportive element. There's some, maybe they brought back some kind of bus route and it's right in front of your doorstep, and you just take the bus right to your perfect destination. You don't have to do any transferring or anything, you know, just something that could just show you that you are being supported in developing in this way. And it's going to support your maturity. It's going to make that maturity or that seriousness feel like you're grateful for it. Like, this is something I want to support me, and I want this to be here forever, and this is a great vibe. So it's very nice. Very nice. Saturday, July the 16th, we have the Sun, Mercury, Cazimi in Cancer, Moon in Pisces, sextiles Mars in Taurus. So on the Cazimi, this is the exterior conjunction with the Sun and Mercury. Mercury's on the outside of the narrow corridor. Do I have the thing I can show you? Give me a second here. This is so funny. Okay, so basically this is like a very tiny itty bitty little screenshot of my Mercury synodic cycle handout. So basically to the very far, I wish I can show you. Let me see if I can do like this. So basically over here where you see that it says 𝚒𝚘𝚘𝚘, this is the narrow corridor that I'm talking about between Earth and the Sun. Up here, that is where Mercury goes. That's what's called the interior conjunction. But what's happening today on Saturday is actually over here. So where it says 𝚒𝚘𝚘𝚘, that's Mercury, and they're conjuncting with the, I'm gonna poke my eye out, with the Sun and with Earth, and that's the exterior conjunction, guide for the souls. And you can see that we have like these little greatest elongation over here, greatest elongation over here. This is part of the cycle of Hermes, or of Mercury. So here you have that retrograde motion, you have Apollo, Hermes. It's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I recommend taking my class because it's really, really cool. So, okay, basically that is your visual of what was going on all this week, and that's why Mercury is going faster, because of that maximum elongation. I should know that because of what Mercury was doing when I was born. So you can actually take a look at that. You can go to this specific website. I think it is called 𝚑𝚘𝚘𝚘, FOURMILAB.ch, and you can find Mercury's greatest elongations. You can basically find out what Mercury was doing when you were born, and it gives you a lot of insight into your mentality, the way your mind works, and all kinds of information in astrology. So, okay, that was way too much of a Cazimi thing to say. So a Sun-Mercury Cazimi is kind of like that, a huge download of information. So when I made that handout, that's like multiple page handout for Mercury's synodic cycle, I did that on a Cazimi, the one earlier this year in the winter. And it was just this huge, like I did so much research. It was just, it took a lot of, I have to understand it on a Sesame Street level to be able to make these guides and to convey things to everybody else. That's always how I need to learn things, whether it's from crypto to astrology to anything. Give me the Sesame Street version and then let me chew on it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this Mercury Sun conjunction in Cancer could have you feeling a little bit like you're taking a lot in, probably very intuitively, probably very emotionally with it being in Cancer. I'm going to say that's okay though. Like, just go with it. Just feel what you feel, because it's time for you to know. You decided that it was time for you to know. It was time for this to it could also be something being published, being pushed forward, being presented to you. So it's not just like you're outing yourself to your parents. It could also be that someone in the family has something to say at the dinner table, or that, you know, your best friend has something to tell you, or you have, you know, it could be coming to you. You could be declaring something to somebody else, or you could be the conduit. You could be connecting people and situations and, you know, putting everything together. Also on Saturday, so that's why I'm calling Saturday Find Your Answers. Like, give yourself a little bit of a light schedule and just meditate, because there's probably already going to be something that you're just really thinking about, and just thinking about all in your mind over and over from all different perspectives. You're probably really excited about it, probably emotionally very invested into it. So just let it run. As long as you're not feeling bad because of what you're thinking, then you're doing great. Also on Saturday, we have the moon in Pisces, now sextiling Mars in Taurus. So now that's nice. That is very helpful. So Saturday, you have all the information. Like that is the big, that's like, it's a very revealing week with that full moon, with Pluto, Cazimi. Like that's a lot. That's a lot. You have the answer Saturday. That nice little sextile has you feeling very clear about your determination, and you're very emotionally aligned with what you want, with what you're doing, with what you're going after, with what you're starting, with your chasing. You're very emotionally connected to your motivation, and you may even believe that there's a higher purpose towards you feeling a certain way, towards you feeling motivated for something, for you wanting something, for you having a dream, for you having an attraction, for you, you might be feeling there's something more here, and I should really do my due diligence and just let it have its moment. And the universe will tell you, acting on your intuition and following the breadcrumbs of the universe will lead you right to points on your destiny, points on your self-mastery, being able to see the blind spots so that you can alchemize them into power and strength. So it's another different look at expanding your comfort zone, is overcoming some obstacle that at first is going to be feeling really hard, but you do it. Your first fender bender, oh my God. Making all the phone calls, doing all the things, and then, it's not like a scary thing anymore because you've already overcome it, you've already done that, you've already made it through that kind of experience. Sunday, July the 17th, we have Venus entering Cancer. We have the Sun in Cancer, trining Neptune in Pisces. We have the Mercury in Cancer, trining Neptune in Pisces. So basically the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are trining Neptune in Pisces, retrograde. Also on Sunday, Venus is entering the sign of Cancer. So that Cancer energy is getting super loved up. I'm calling that day spiritual prosperity because of that. This is going to be totally through your feelings and through your emotions that are going to determine how full you feel, or how prosperous you feel, or how satiated you feel. Okay. Venus entering Cancer. It's going to be way easier to attract. Venus in Gemini, more like sampling all of the things and hitting all the parties, dating all of the people. Venus in Cancer, way more specific, way more, narrowing the filter, okay? Filtering out a lot of different things. There's no need to consider in casting, you would submit people that are like perfect for the role, and then you'd submit also a couple people that are like maybe if they're wanting to go in like a different direction, or maybe if they're open to an age range that is a little bit younger or a little bit older than what they're looking for. And they're like the maybe people, but not really having like a strong chance because they're not exactly what. This Venus in Cancer is way more like, if you're not being aroused, if you're not being attracted, it's a total no. Hit or miss. Whereas Venus in Gemini could be more open-minded and say, I'll consider it, I'll try it once. I'll try anything once, that Venus in Gemini. So Venus in Cancer, I feel like is going to make you in that area of life attracting like exactly what you want. Attracting exactly what makes you feel comfortable, and making the things that do feel comfortable, even more enjoyable. Feels even better. It's nice. It's very, very nice. I like it. Then you have the Sun and Mercury both in Cancer, making these trines over to Neptune and Pisces. That's very creative. It's very inspiring. It's very emotional. There could be very deep, honest, cathartic, emotional, creative, spiritual conversations that you're having, and you love it. There could even be words of affection being exchanged. I love this dress on you. I love this work that you did. I love this choice that you picked out for the curtains. I love, something's just feeling really great. Something's feeling really resonant, and you're very probably more verbally appreciative of, whatever this happens to be. So make sure to speak your appreciation and say thank you and please and all of the things. Monday, July the 18th. Oh, I didn't write it down here, but just real quick, you guys. Monday, July the 18th does feature Mercury opposing Pluto in Capricorn. I'm a Mercury-Pluto person, so I feel like I have like a little bit more authority to talk about this. I'm not in opposition, but I'm calling this day holding power. And I know that we always say, oh, you gotta hold the tension between the opposition, you gotta hold the tension between, you know, and I get that, and it's true, and it's right, it's correct. But how? You know, how I take my job very seriously. I mean, we're dealing with big life stuff here. So I've just got to be as specific and concise and pointed with you guys as possible when discussing such at times nebulous and ungraspable concepts and ideas and techniques. So when I say hold the tension, Mercury in Cancer is opposing Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. Holding the tension, what I mean when I'm saying that is to hold the power through combining the opposites. So you want to take Mercury in Cancer. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is happening in the Cancer-Capricorn axis in your life. Let's say you are a Taurus, for instance. You're a Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is going to be more for Taurus Rising or Taurus Sun. As an example, you Taurus people examples. So you have the Mercury in Cancer in your third house. That's very intuitive. That's getting over Cazimi. You have a lot of information coming through to you, big conversations, knowing how you feel, talking about how you feel is a big step for you. Opposing Pluto, Hades, shadowy, underworld, the dude with the blue fire. Oh yeah, that's right, he had blue fire as hair in Hercules, in like the animated feature Hercules, in Capricorn, retrograde. So in your ninth house, or wherever this happens to be for you. So you want to take that intuitive perception, and when dealing with travel, itineraries, big publishing, mentors, gurus, or even your own spirituality, you want to apply it that way. You don't want to be Pluto in that area. You don't want to be paranoid. You don't want to be suspicious. You don't want to project. You don't want, because that full moon conjuncting Pluto is going to show you your subconscious. It's going to show you the ugly things about yourself, the ugly things about the situation, but also the strength, the empowerment and the purpose and the drive and the motivation and the integrity of the situation as well. Pluto in Capricorn does want power, but like I said, the power gained through strategy is so far greater than the power gained through position. So you want to take this very self-aware, cognizant power, Pluto being in Capricorn, very easy for Pluto to be in Capricorn, easy for Capricorn to house Pluto, in my opinion. You want to take that energy and use it in the Cancerian area of life. So for that Taurus, I would say that Mercury Pluto could make you a little squirrely or suspicious, or at the very least bring to your doorstep some huge conversations, maybe some of them accusatory or suspicious or underhanded, or addressing some form of power imbalance in your connection, or something that is just causing you to really change your position ideologically, your belief system, changing your actual mind. And you're going to need to balance these big energies through using the skill of one in the domain of the other. And that is how you hold power. That is how you holding the tension of these opposites in any kind of opposition. So oppositions are kind of easy in that way because they have to work together as allies. And when you have any two planets having to work together as allies in that sense, I think it's very exciting because they don't need to change. They don't have to be who they're not. They just have to work together with that other, like that award show when Jack Black called up Jack White to perform, and he's like, hey man, we're like two sides of the same coin. You know, you have your corresponding opposite side to the same coin, and you just have to use them both at their strongest for the other purpose. I know that sounds kind of funny and clever and like a riddle, but if you just sit with it, Just sit with that. Zone out, tune out, get nice and spacey. You'll get your own download. You'll get your own solution to something. Whenever Pluto connects with anything, the moon, Mercury, the sun, it's always to show you how much power you really have in the situation and how much power you're giving away. That's always what it's really going to be. So this is going to show you where you have power in communication, or if you're dealing with a very powerful person, this full moon could totally highlight people in positions of power and in your own lives. So you may be dealing with people that have less power than you and more power than you at the same time. So if this is a revealing conversation where you know where you stand with another person, even though that's what it's going to be, it may not look or feel like that to you or to another person that you're involved with. You may both walk away from the conversation and you know that you have the power, even though you may have like lost the debate or fight or whatever, and they may walk away thinking that they have the power, but they've actually spited you in the situation. Or, you know, it's kind of like that, like letting someone believe that they have power when they're just the loudest in the room, and they're just like, just get this person out of here, just get this person, move this person along. They're just, it's not even worth it to get them to understand what's happening. You just know that they're not behaving and you just need to get them out. Okay, you know, that's like such a retail thing where you just, whatever it is, peace. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it happens to be, like, let's just de-escalate the situation. So don't be afraid to use that. Don't be afraid to use that very deeply intuitive kind of, this is kind of a psychic full moon, to be honest. So everyone, like, just pay super attention, observe your own body, thoughts and emotions for any reactions, subtle or strong. It means you're being pinged. Your physical antennae are having like these little signals going off, and you're just being pinged like the spider web, and you can feel the pull, you know, it's what's happening. So let's start your reading. Let's take a look. This is a very revealing week, kind of like boom, boom, boom. What can we expect? Definitely some kind of changing of the guard for sure. I want you to focus internally where you're giving the power away to someone to make you mad or happy. Tell me about this week. Ooh, right away, first card. Speaking of which, so honestly, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you really want to think very long term at this full moon. Capricorn is about longevity. It's about what really lasts. Pluto is about what really lasts. When Pluto connects with you in any way, shape, or form, everything that is false or giving you a false sense of security, those crutches are going to get kicked out from under you. And that's going to be this full moon too. So if you've been leaning on any false support to feel powerful, to feel strong, to feel emotionally self-confident, Pluto's going to kick out those little crutches out from under you, and you're going to fall. You're going to fall. So you probably already know the bad things that are tempting you, and it's going to be up to you to choose, to willfully choose against that. Prove to yourself that your conscious will can be stronger and bigger than your subconscious. What else? Another card. Knight of Pentacles. So something's been just going on for a long time, that Knight of Pentacles. Something's just been, gosh, I'm not taking all of that. I'm just going to take the top card. It's the Nine of Swords. Okay, so it could just be you worrying. That is the toxic trait. Maybe just you worrying, like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh my God. And you just kind of, you know, worrying about your relationship or your situation, or your family, like whatever, or the world. Maybe you're worried about towns you've never been to, and you know, careful with that one. That's, how do you feel? Ooh. Bear it back. Okay, and we have the Ace of Wands with the Ten of Swords. Wow, you're really gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You're making it. You are doing it. You're doing great. It just could be that you've been holding on to so much anxiety this entire time. If that's the case, you're an extremely high functioning, like, anxious person. Like, you just collapse at the finish line. Like, this is like, and I will walk 500 miles and I will walk 500 more. Something fall down at your door. You fall down at the door of that Ace of Wands. Like, there's some new start that you're going on. It's like the end of Lord of the Rings. Like, after all of that, you know, like after all of that, then you just get like a whole new life. I mean, it's not like a real whole new life, because they had those hobbits had severe PTSD. What else? Thank you. Oh, it's the moon. We're going to stop there. We have the Seven of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. Damn, the Tower. And the World. So, going to make the best of all of this. Seven of Pentacles, the World, and the Tower. Okay. So, honestly, I am seeing that the worry is done and over with this week. This is kind of a big psychological, I feel like you're holding a lot in this thought or idea or concept. You're holding a lot. This is a very highly charged, this is not just like, oh, I worry too much. This is, you grew up with a gambler parent and never knew when you were going to have anything ever again. That kind of anxiety where you're like, or you know, like this goes back to some core fear or a core need that did not get met. So you're crying, you're a baby, something broke your trust in life, humanity, your life, your humanity, possibly early on, to seed this anxiety. So you might not even remember something like this. You could just know that you're always worried about something. Maybe you're always worried about, maybe it doesn't even make any sense. Maybe you worry about food or money or relationships or jobs when you live a life and a family and a lifestyle that just doesn't, like, that doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense, you know? It's like, or it could be a past life thing, could even go that far back. But something about this week is really vindicating. It's like, okay, what is the Devil? Thank you. Six of Wands. Okay, so some of you, it's either worried about what other people think of you, or you might be really concerned that people find out something about you, or there's something, maybe even like a dark skeleton in your closet. Sorry about the expression, but you know, maybe there's just something about you that you just don't want anyone to know or find out, or that there's maybe like one detail that you don't want to be made public, or there's some kind of jealousy or enviousness regarding people in the public eye, or something about, you know, maybe your older brother got like all the attention and all the praise growing up, and it gave you this like bitterness to you, and you just feel like you never get enough attention. Something. What is the Knight of Pentacles? Could also be fear of the public, fear of being out in public, fear of being in the public eye, fear of attention. Oh. Ooh, so we're still doing the doubles, I see. Double Ten of Swords and the Star. You have the star, the moon, and the world, just saying. This is very impressive. So you've been living under some kind of immense stress psychologically, and somehow you have been able to reinvigorate or reignite either hopes or passions for your life, motivation. You're able, it's like you go through a lot of death energy, or a lot of, it's like defeat after defeat after defeat, failure after failure after failure, betrayal after betrayal, and you just like still have hope. And it's connecting over to here. There, it's like maybe it's part of the energy of your life that when you have huge explosive meltdown of a, guys, I cannot tell you how many personal catastrophes I have lived through. Okay, I mean really just fiascos. So, you know, but if it's part of your life's energy where I have my moon in the 8th house, okay, where your death and transformation and like crises and traumas, like all this stuff, that's like, maybe it's also part of that story that there's some new thing for you to start. Maybe there's always a new thing that you get started on after you've totally, not like it's your fault, but maybe after a situation has just totally blown up beyond. I mean, that's Pluto though. Like Pluto, there's no going back. So after this full moon, there will be no going back. Do not go where I cannot follow. It's sort of like what you are. So commending you for that, for holding on to some faith or hope or truth or some guiding star that has kept you going despite the programming, the original programming, and then despite what life has been showing you, because you ran into dead end after obstacle, and all of that was supposed to show you parts of your subconscious. So you either did not take those lessons and you just kept on going trying to like have hope, or you did take those lessons and you made these hard adjustments. You accepted what these mini failures have taught you, you know, where you tried something, didn't succeed or what have you, and changed yourself. Like use that conscious free will to change yourself and then to continue to believe in yourself thereafter. What is this 9 of Swords, please? Ooh. 3 cards face down. More doubles. We have the double world, 7 of Wands, and the 2 of Cups though. Okay, this really looks like you've been fighting for the wrong person, situation, motive. You've been fighting for the wrong thing. And it hasn't been enough to completely rid you of this core, I don't know if this is like a core blind spot or a core wound that is continuing to express itself in self-sabotaging ways. But it's coming to a conclusion. So what you make of it is going to be your talent. It's going to be your mental brilliance to see your life, see yourself, see your feelings clearly, your motivations and people and all of that. All of, like I told my ex-boss, I'm only as fast as your slowest computer. You are only as fast as your slowest computer. But think of the slow computers as self-sabotaging subconscious programming that was programmed into you before you even stood a chance. Mom's last trimester of pregnancy to 7 years old. Let's take a look at this 10 of Swords and the Ace of Wands, please. This is a long video, I feel. We've got 3 more cards. We have the Chariot, we have the Knight of Wands, we have the Queen of Swords. So there could have been someone helping you through these catastrophes, these calamities, these crises. I like this person. This looks like someone, maybe a therapist or a professional or an older mentor type person that helps you frame it all up, where you can tell them, guys, sometimes you guys book psychic tarot readings and consigliere sessions with me and you don't tell me what the reading is for or what it's about until we get on the Zoom, and you dump it all out, and then I'm like, this is what it is, this is what's going on, and I ask you maybe like how you're feeling about certain things, and guys, we get pretty precise as far as the energy work that we're doing and how to make you feel better and how to make you feel more confident and how to just give you some of that power. That's what this person does, this Queen of Swords. This person, so maybe throughout your life, this has been someone that has always, you know, maybe they read a lot of poetry and they build you up with a lot of poetic references, or they love to study the classics and they give you lots of examples throughout classical literature, or maybe they're into something. They're into something. And I mean, I remember growing up, my little sister, she's a Gemini, so she's got that active mind. Both have our moon in Aquarius, and she should always tell me, like in bed going to sleep, to tell her a story. And I never had like a story, but I always made it up as I went along, and like always worked. So this person might not, they know what to say to you. They may not be a professional therapist, or they may not have any kind of big, I don't know, I'm doing like a wall of, let's see, like certificates. You guys know I don't really buy into the institutionalized establishment. You guys know that already. But, you know, those, the diplomas and the things, you know, they may not have all that, but they say what you need to hear to get you up again. Like, throughout my early life, like that was totally my mom. She was my Sarah Connor and I was like John Connor. That's like, that was our life. My childhood was like Terminator meets Silent Hill. And she was like, get up, soldier. You know, you need like a Sarah Connor to be like, get up, soldier. So you had someone kind of like that to, you know, live to die another day, as I say. And got you going towards some, I wonder what your goal is, because I feel like there's something very specific that you are reaching towards, or that you have a very specific picture in your mind's eye. For some of you, just be super careful that it's not fame itself, because that could be such a huge blind spot for you that you just, that's the self-sabotaging thing. For some of you, it's the opposite. Guys, I'd love to do the obscure occultist who just meditates all day up in some mountain somewhere and just like, you know, it's not realistic. It's just not. You have to practice whatever stage of evolutionary development that you're on, and you have to alchemize and you have to do stuff. The higher ranking you are with energy work and self-mastery, you have to do more stuff. You have to do more stuff. Because you can, because you have the cognizance, because you have the power, the ability to do stuff. So for some of you, it's the opposite. It's where you don't want anything to do with the public, and you just have to balance that out. You have to reconcile that. For some of you, it's caring what people think. Especially in this day and age, you guys, that's very dated. Or like, the concept, to me, the concept of, I'm really chatty today, the concept of like fashion to me is super dated, because men and women can wear pants and skirts and any lengths and any, like that just doesn't exist anymore. Like maybe there's trends and stuff, but like style, everyone has their own style. So like there's just certain things, and that's one of them, is caring what other people think. Like, it's just not relevant anymore. No one cares about, honestly, in the future, we got We got bigger fish to free, my friends. We really do. And the little trivial things, it's very old world. It's very, that'll be like archaic thinking. Or one body type. Like that feels very outdated to me, that there's one body type. No, it's whatever your body is doing, whatever it's naturally wanting to do. And then you just eat healthy, exercise regularly, practice good sleep hygiene, and stay hydrated with water, and you should be fine. Whatever your body is wanting to do, whatever your hair is wanting to already do. Well, you can also dye it blue if you want to. That's cool too. But you know what I'm saying. So it's like, so whatever this is, it's probably some outdated. Just try to look at whatever is frustrating you, and just, how can I look at that as being very outdated? Whatever is frustrating you. Just try to look at that as, oh, that's so outdated, and try to see how it can be outdated. And you'll probably see, like, that's pretty outdated. You can let it go. I just think it's weird that this aesthetic of like the 80s is so popular right now. Like, let it go, let it go, let it go. And it's just ironic because in the 80s, that is what those people, the past people, thought that we now would want to wear. But the now people are wanting to wear what the old people thought we would want to wear now. I just want something new. I think I'm just ready for something fresh. Let's take a look at the moon. Maybe that'll help. The moon is the public. The moon can be where you feel very lost and very scared, and you feel like you're just spinning and whatever you do is going to be the wrong thing to do. Or you'll be in that same dark place, but you'll trust. Like being in a dark room with the lights off, you know where your furniture is, so just walk through the room knowing where your furniture is. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. It can be hard to trust yourself in certain contexts because you might need to take a risk on something that is going to be popular, but you don't know it's going to be popular the moment you're getting the idea. You might just know that you like it. And it's the moon. Jeez Louise. Hold on, I'll be right back. And it's the King of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. So the King of Pentacles, to clarify, the moon is so funny. So what I like about this is that if you are looking for any good ideas, or if you're getting any good ideas, you can ground them. You can bring them down into physical manifestation. I feel like I've said that like already. Major deja vu. Trust yourself. Trust what you value. This North Node in Taurus energy is stress testing all of our values, and I'm pretty sure this full moon is going to be a nice big shift in values leading up to July 31st, August the 1st, where we have the triple conjunction, talking of course of Mars, the North Node, and Uranus together in Taurus. Huge value shift on a dime. On a dime. Everyone's going to be chasing some different thing. Hopefully it's inner resourcefulness. Hopefully it's inner faith and confidence and just loving what you love and enjoying what you love. Give yourself a little bit more credit. You'll be able to not only ground any good ideas that you're getting about your life or what have you, but you'll also be able to analyze and pick apart the bits of your subconscious that you're seeing. And decide for yourself if you like it or not, if you want to keep it or not. I'm going to use the potato chip deck because I want to take a look at the Tower, the World, and the Seven of Pentacles. This is kind of something that you've been investing in a long time, and you just, before this big moment happens, you just might not know if it was a good investment or not, or you just might, yeah, you just might not know. It might be just, what's right away? We've got the World again, the World. To clarify, we've also got the Queen of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles and the Two of Cups, so more doubles. Ten of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. Wow, so there are some factions changing, and this definitely speaks to some kind of transition of power where someone comes in to assume a different role. There could also be a lot of success having to do with one or more of your investments, and it takes off in a very exciting way, and it does figure a partnership. This is definitely a partnership you have with another person, and it could be very solidifying. It could be like, especially if you were at all worried about a partnership or a friendship or anything at all, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. So going back to the thing, if you're worried about what someone's going to think of you, you don't have to worry, because you guys are going to vibe, or it's going to be great, or it's going to work out better than you expected. Far better than you expected. Okay, real quick, what is the divine feather for this week ahead, please? Thank you. Bottom of the deck, we have the woodpecker. Use your discernment and fortitude to achieve new goals. Achieve your goals and find a new rhythm. So you're breaking out of the rhythm, getting into a new rhythm like that. You have a couple poppers. You have the pelican. Choose to follow the path of forgiveness and raise your vibration. Forgiving it, forgiving it, forgiving it, forgiving it, forgive it. Oh, the hummingbird. Release what you've been carrying and lighten up. A new joy is on the way. All of those mini failures made you better at strategy. They made you stronger mentally. They made you more confident spiritually. It's like I said in the vlog, how to heal and move on. Going forward, you think you're going backward, but you're just kind of going at a slant. And you think you're going forward, but you're actually going a little bit higher. And you just get into that. That's what the growth really looks like. So there's some joy coming in, but this is the final thing where you're blowing away some kind of insecurity or something that was holding over you, some worry you had. And then you have the eagle. You are learning all aspects of spiritual connection and reaching new heights. You are learning all aspects of spiritual connection and reaching new heights. The new aspects of spiritual connection could be between you and another person, you and this, if it's a project, or the spiritual connection between you and your higher self, so that you don't have to go through life being as anxious or having this thing working on you that you don't really want to give it permission to work on you. Okay. I love you guys. Take really good care. I will check in on your energies soonly, my loves. Until then, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Oh, and check out Chocolate Chai. Email Ashley down below in the description box. It is my daily favorite, and I think you guys would like it a lot too.